I just wanted to thank Lane. But that's really what it is. For keeping the eyes on the mission, for being focused, just the way he's handling everything. I don't know if the man's staying, okay? I don't. And I don't know if you do, and I don't know if most people do. Even the most connected people I talk to don't seem to know.
I'll wait for you to ask me that question specifically instead of interrupting you constantly.
Okay. Before we get to that, though, I just want to thank you, Lane. No matter if you're staying or leaving, you've got this team focused. You beat Oklahoma. You beat South Carolina.
Handily.
3 games left. Please just continue doing whatever the hell it is you're doing. And not only is it just him that seems to be dialed into focus and talking about the mission ahead, but his guys. I mean, the way that his players are playing. Of course, Ole Miss has tons of deficiencies we talk about on a weekly basis, but the focus seems to be there, and that intensity and that chase for that goal, which is the playoff, seems to be there. And I think it's just worth giving him credit, no matter what happens. All right, Ben, is Lane going to stay or leave?
Come on, I don't know. No one knows. That's the beauty of it.
That's what I just said.
As of today, it's either, in my opinion, an Ole Miss extension or Florida. Yeah. I don't think LSU's involved in this. I think Jeff
Landry has done a great job. Let me just say how much I appreciate Jeff Landry. He should be governor forever.
Torpedo this process for them. But also, I hope they succeed, LSU, in how they restructure. If they do get away with significantly restructuring contracts, because coaches' contracts reform is needed, and not just at LSU because they paid out a stupid contract to Brian Kelly and also Jimbo Fisher. I'm talking about, like, it's so overwhelmingly, no matter which person it is, Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss or pick your coach, it's so overwhelmingly slanted to the coach's side because
it's funny to me because it was the same week you literally said to me, you're like, that bubble is bursting very soon. He's like, I don't think you said very soon. You said it's going to burst. It may not be soon, but it's going to happen. These coaches are not going to get away with these buyouts anymore. And the same week, Jeff Landry came out. So I guess you've been in touch with Jeff Landry, man. Guys connected.
Or my job is quite literally to know this stuff. I don't know much of anything else. All right, That's why. Like, I don't presume to know whether or not Lane is staying or going. Honestly, you're not going to hear anything for another few weeks, if anything. Yeah. But reading the tea leaves today, like, Auburn was a serious pursuit 3 years ago, but he's not going to Auburn. I think Florida's a legitimate threat. I think Florida wants him that desperately. And I think that, there are a lot of connectors there, more specifically unique to the lane than there are at other jobs. But Ole Miss has had on the table an extension for weeks. I mean, there's nothing he's going, well, that doesn't look right. Well, what do you need? This. Okay. And that's what they give him. It doesn't matter if it's coach's salary.
And there's no shot that behind the scenes it's already a done deal and that they're just dragging this along potentially to play chess with other programs. Like, that's not – what do you think about that possibility?
I think Lane's just deliberately keeping his options open. It'd be like if, I got approached by my place of work and they said, Ben, we love you, man. You're doing great work. We want you to sign here. But then I'd already been approached by another company and they said to me, hey, Ben, we might be able to do something even better for you. He's looking out for himself. It might be disheartening, especially as other coaches come out like Dan Lanning or pick your guy, Kurt Singdetti, and say, oh, well, I'm committed to my place. Different strokes for different folks. It ain't that serious because – he is going to be honored and thanked and recognized, honored even, for whatever, despite what he ultimately does in a couple of weeks, or if not months. He's going to get that kind of recognition at Ole Miss. So if he keeps doing this and winning and getting Ole Miss to a legitimate national championship chase and right there in the playoff and all those kind of things, Ole Miss is going to be then one of the very best jobs if it does come open. So, like, this is the best place Ole Miss. These are all good problems for Ole Miss.
100%.
Good problems for Ole Miss. But from everything I can tell, Lane is either going to be the extension or Florida, and he's the one that's keeping it open, keeping it available. If you ask me today, I say it's nothing better than a coin flip. I'd still probably put my money on the Ole Miss extension, but if anyone's denying that it's obvious that he is keeping those options open deliberately, then they're deluding themselves. But I am with you. I commend Lane for how he's dealt with it too, as far as the on-the-field performance goes. Because in that building, man, they are walking in lockstep. They don't care. Because honestly, and Lane brought up this point, the players are week to week, month to month, too. I mean, like, you could say, you know what? Sadron wants to come back. He can't. He's out of eligibility. But if you said, Ole Miss fan, you could get Sadron back. Oh, no, forget him. We could save the money in the NIL, blah, 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 blah. right now, it's never been a better time to love Ole Miss football. They are legitimately one of, if not a leading contender for a national championship in 2025-26. Ohio State playing the best anybody. Julian saying, woo,
yeah,
man, it's coming. Man,
talked
it's coming
about
on.
It last week, man. I'm telling you, we don't
He's
talk about them enough.
Yeah, you're right. I think he's probably the Heisman favorite now. There's some really good teams. Oregon's a team that can get you.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, I think Ole Miss and Texas A&M are about the same, but give them a lot of credit, man. They're playing well. Ole Miss is right there, and if they keep winning, it's going to be hard for Lane to do anything. But if he does, you're not going to see a John Summerall Tulane against UTSA for Ole Miss in a playoff chase from Lane, because he's kept that as it needs to be, as a professional does, especially professionals that are keeping their options open, as is, a pretty standard and common practice in big business. You know what I mean? Yeah, I know on three would say, Ben, pledge your undying loyalty forever. Can't do it. Won't do it. Just like that, it's the same difference for everybody.
Yeah.
Because at the end so it stinks, because, man, I'd love for it to happen, for Lane to stay at Ole Miss as long as he wants to, retire here, all those kind of things. I think I agree with Paul Feinbaum, though, who is just salivating over all this stuff, because him and Lane, he loves this. But I think he's fair when he was fair when he said yesterday, Lane's got one more move in him. Whenever
could that be the NFL, though? I've always said it's going to be the NFL, because what else? I get there's tons of college programs.
This year I think it's Florida or Ole Miss extension. That's what I think.
Hey, man, don't forget about my Giants now.
That would be interesting if they move on from Brian Daboll, and I've said that multiple times. I think I said that to you.
It's starting to show up on my Twitter a lot more, the Photoshop picture of Lane in a Giants jacket, and let me tell you, you want to talk about just not feeling the pain of losing Lane as an Ole Miss guy, just to go to your NFL team. And there's tons of Ole Miss fans who are also Giants fans because of Eli or Jackson Dart or whoever.
That's the Ole Miss modern era, modern era. That's the Ole Miss NFL team, right? Because of Eli and Evan Ingram, both first rounders. We could do this all day.
Where did Charlie Connerly go? Did he go to the Giants?
The Giants,
right?
One of the greatest. Yeah, and I'm proud of you for pulling out Charlie Connerly in the year of our Lord 2025. Awesome. But no, because yes, the Giants, that one makes a lot of sense. I just think right now, and it could change tomorrow, because all this stuff changes all the time. I think it's an Ole Miss extension of Florida, and it's nothing better than a coin flip, because he's made it that way. He's kept it that way.
Yeah.
But he's done a good job, an incredibly good job of keeping this team playing good football. I thought when South Carolina went in and scored that Lenore Sellers touchdown, it was 7-0. I went, here we go. 2022 redux a little bit. They look lethargic. This team doesn't look focused, and they're just playing. They just had a bad start. It really was that simple.
I was going, are night games bad for us now, because we just haven't really played them? The guys aren't what's the deal?
Wait, all right, so we're bad at 11 a.m. games and now bad at 6 p.m. games.
We got to play that
good football team.
You got to play that 3:30 window or something. It's that's what it was looking like.
They responded, and they played well, and they really beat up a team that they had Alabama beat. They had them beat.
Yeah,
Alabama is ranked ahead of Ole Miss, and we both love Ty Simpson and a lot of what Alabama has done. But on a neutral site, it's a coin flip: Ole Miss or Alabama.
But this is the week-to-week thing you and I talk about every week, right? And coaches talk about it, whatever, in the SEC. It's always been that way, but it's that way more now than ever. It really is week to week. Florida getting the win over Texas seems crazy now, right? But that week,
Texas,
Florida was just on, and it's Oklahoma beating Tennessee. It's what? So it's literally everything's week to week.
And then Texas, our guy Arch putting belts to ass.
I will say,
my guy Diego Pavia and our fighting Commodores of Vanderbilt. Woo!
Yeah. Well, also almost had a comeback too. It's just it's so crazy on a week to week basis.
That wasn't a 2-point conversion. That was nonsense.
I agree. I do agree. That was a bad call.
Came in from Birmingham, and they said, you know what, make this closer. We got to make it look a little bit better for our Commodores.
But it is, and I understand South Carolina's got a terrible offensive line. Some of those numbers that were really good for Ole Miss's defense, you could say, are inflated. I wouldn't argue with you on that. But it's
also,
from a week
6 sacks.
6 sacks is 6 sacks. 2 interceptions is 2 interceptions. And Lenore Sellers is still a guy that coming into the season was a Heisman candidate, for a lot of people. So you still have to give them credit. But it doesn't matter who you play in this conference on a weekly basis, whether it's at home or it's away. That could be their week. Like, that's why you can't. People are in the national conversation are already, Ole Miss finished with Citadel, Mississippi State, and Florida. The Rebels are locking for the playoffs. I love hearing it, but I'm also like freaking. I'm like, dude, you got to play Jaden Ball. Like, he's going to come in and try to run it down their throats. Like, DJ Lagway played pretty decently against Georgia's secondary, which we know isn't good, but neither is Ole Miss's. So you still have these games that are going to matter, and you just don't know who's going to be on. That's why that focus aspect and that factor of keeping the eye on the prize and being zoned in is so important. And Lane has done that. Ben, we should give a shout out to our sponsor, BNA Bank, by the way. Anytime we talk about Ole Miss, it is brought to you by BNA Bank.
BNA Bank, my people, my hometown bank here in New Albany, Mississippi, just up the road or down the road from Oxford, Mississippi, where I go to my second home. It's my professional home. This is my personal home. And BNA Bank, man, they've been my personal friends and supporting bank for all 39 years of my existence. It's branches in New Albany and Tupelo. They emphasize this BNA Bank community involvement. Contact them today, 662-534-8171. My friends Carolyn Brownson, Witt, and Bob Spencer, Mike Staten. Don't keep me I'll list the whole office. You don't want all that. But BNA Bank, which I've told them, Bank of New Albany Bank doesn't make any sense. But we'll go with it. BNA Bank, 662-534-8171. Visit them online at bnabank.com. Thanks to them, to Riverland Roofing, 662-644-4297 for all they do to support not just Game Runs Deep and my podcast, Talk of Champions, but also the Ole Miss Spirit, where you can sign up today. Y'all know the deal. Would love to have you. And on the site today, the Spirit site today, Adam Gorney, national recruiting writer for your own three, behemoth monster sports media company. Ole Miss targets on Lane Kiffin's job status. He's not leaving. He's not leaving. NASCAR McCoy, wonderful name. Perfect college football name. 3-star safety commit, Ole Miss commit NASCAR McCoy said, the staff has told me that he's staying and we're still locked in for the long haul. They're trying to build something special and don't want to be broken at all. So there you go.
Hey, there's something for you.